So if you're going to open a school, though, I think the first thing is, do you want it part-time or do you want to open it full-time? Do you want it or to be your full-time career? Are you going to teach 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes a day, get staff and employees, and you're going to do everything legit and run a professional business? So that might be what you need to consider. Hello, I'm James Cox, and this is a martial arts lifestyle podcast. We are on episode number 55 today. So I want to talk some about, you could call it the nasty side of the martial arts, or the things that people don't really know much about, especially business, martial arts business and business related. It's awesome that you can turn your passion and your purpose into a professional career like I have done and so many people all over the world with martial arts. Something happened where I knew early on, 15, 16 years old, that this is what I wanted to do full-time forever and ever. I wanted to be a professional fighter, and I wanted to own and operate martial arts schools. I didn't know how really to do either one of those. I had to learn, right, a lot the hard way. What is owning and operating a martial arts business? Well, those are two different things. Anybody, unfortunately, anybody can own a martial arts school. Martial arts is something unique. It's not like governed and regulated like by a licensed committee somewhere. When you think of careers like being a doctor, an attorney, a hairstylist, plumber, electrician, there's guidelines. They have license and regulations to go through and test and certifications, but you don't have to do that with martial arts. I know decades ago there was something really going around, and it was said that it was even in Congress, and they were voting on regulating the martial arts industry. I think that's not going to happen. It's just so difficult because styles are all so different. There may be a certain way that you need to wire a house for electrical, but there's different ways that you could teach a left hook or a hip toss. So regulating martial arts, unless they found a way that this is the way everyone should teach their basics and a way to, just checks and balances of that school and that business, I don't know if that's going to happen. So some people don't know that just anybody can open a martial arts school. The first misconception or assumption is that you have to be a black belt. And that's not the case, unfortunately. You would think, yeah, that should be check number one, be a good instructor, know something about business, be a good martial arts, practitioner, high-ranking black belt, open up an academy and change people's lives forever. That's what we do. We empower lives. But I know people that own and operate martial arts now that are not black belts, that are not martial artists. Some of them succeed, a lot of them close. And I know people on the other side of that. So, owning it and then operating, two different things, man. There's a lot of schools that open. There's also a lot of schools that close. And it's not something that is so structured and governed across the line. So if you're looking at opening a martial arts school, let's kind of give some of this. I can give you guys some really good tips and pointers. And not just if you want to open up a martial arts school, also consider how do you follow your passion, your purpose, and turn that to a professional career, whatever it is that you have an interest in. So if you're going to open a school, though, I think the first thing is, do you want it part-time? We call these like clubs. You have a class at a recreation center, the YMCA, you're renting out, subleasing a space somewhere, right? Maybe you're in your garage. That happens a lot. Or do you want to open it full-time? Do you want it or to be your full-time career? Are you going to teach 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes a day, 6 days a week, 5 days a week? Or are you going to get staff and employees and you're going to do everything legit and run a professional business? So that might be what you need to consider, part-time or full-time. Are you going to be semi-absentee, and is that possible? There's lots going on in the world with that, and some it is, and others it's not. I know when I clocked in, I was probably 15 or 16. I'm still on the clock. I've never clocked out, all right? So owning your martial arts business is not always, like any business, as wonderful as you may think, because sometimes you become a slave to your business. You're always on the clock, 24/7. We're an employee. They're off at whatever time. Then they're gone. They don't have to worry about things. But for me, I don't know what happens at any given time. Something can happen, and I have to be there. So you're kind of always at work for sure there. Business model, I would think after you decide how you want to open it is what do you want your school to be and what do you want to produce, right? So you start with the end in mind. That's a good point there. My model still today, man, is so much more about the quality of the students, the progression of the students, that we can teach a positive, well-rounded mixed martial art. We can make sure our students are good at all aspects of the martial arts, but they're good martial artists. To me, that's still more important than the money, you know. But if you have a business, does the money matter? Of course it matters. You have to keep the doors open. Who's going to pay the light bills and the lease and insurance and the tremendous amount of overhead and expenses and advertising, marketing, and all the things that we have? So you have staff, and you have staff that you want to pay well, that have family to support, then yeah, you need to make some money on your business. Things to think about there is with your business model and covering the expenses and what your goal is, you know, if it's the quality of the students like mine, and how many students can you support in a school? How much square foot do you have? You know, I know that we teach, we got like 7 classes a day. You know, we might do a morning class, and then we have a class just for 3 to 4 year olds, a class for 5 to 7. We have 2 classes for the 8 to 12s, because 8 to 12 is still the biggest demographic of martial arts students in the nation. And then we have an adult class, then we have a specialty class, meaning like a straight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, straight Muay Thai, or a fight team class. I know, for instance, when I first started my martial arts school, my lease, the building that I was renting, was $400 a month. I remember being so nervous, like, how am I going to make that rent? How am I going to pay $400 a month? Now I'm easily over $5,000 a month with so many more expenses. So you gotta think about the overhead, and you're going to be able to support that. What is the answer to all of this that I'm talking about? I would say in one word: systems. And we use that a lot in the martial arts industry, systems, but it's with any business. You have to have your systems in place, and it starts with the very beginning, and it just continues. And, you know, system, in other words, just like think in the physical sense of martial arts, there's methodology, there's a technique that is proven and tried and tested on a way to throw, again, a side kick, the way to throw whatever, an overhand right. And you want to learn the right way to do that. That's why it has high success rate, right? Well, it's the same way with the systems in place. You know, if we're talking about the systems, there's always 2 things you got to think of in running a successful martial arts school. It's really on the daily about growth and retention. So in my mind, it's like, what can we do to grow? Because we got to get new students. And then what can we do to keep the students we have? Retention. Growth and retention. How do these things kind of happen? Well, you should know some of your numbers. You know, some of your numbers, and it may start with like your attrition rate. Statistically, it's said that, you know, good martial arts school will have 5 to 7% attrition rate. In other words, that means how many students they're going to lose no matter what. Because it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to lose students. People move, they lose interest, you know, financial struggles, whatever it may be. So if you have 100 students and you know you're going to lose 7 a month, then you need to get 8 to grow, right? You know, if you have 500 students, well, now you're talking a higher number, 35 students that you're going to lose, and you need to get 36 to grow. The way that we're going to grow in the martial arts is understanding advertising and marketing, and, you know, top of mind, course referral by doing the right things on the floor. It's all connected. There's not one thing that works magic. It's a combination of everything working together. So advertising is a lot of what we just explain as what we pay people to do for us. Online, digital is probably the biggest right now, but there's tons of ways to advertise. Marketing can be low cost or no cost, and these are the things that we do that are a little more labor intensive, a little more grassroots, what we're doing to connect to other businesses. You know, we do a lot of booths at special events. We do a lot of birthday parties, just being out there, and how that we can get more students, you know. And then what is your systems in place from inquiries? What do you do when someone walks in your door? What do you do if you're at the gas station and someone sees, you know, your T-shirt logo and they ask you about your martial arts? What do you do when someone calls and you answer your phone? There always should be some sort of phone script. I'm not about the sleazy, you know, used car salesman, no offense to used car salesman, you know, approach of just too salesy, man. I just want to be real. I mean, I know what the martial arts has done for me. I see what it has done for so many other people that I believe in what we have to offer. It's easy to sell something when you believe in it. So really try to answer a lot of the question of what can you do for them, and be less more about you, because it's more about them than it is you. But if you have a good procedure of handling your inquiries, that would probably be one of the first steps in there. You know, how do you answer your phone? What do you say? What do you not say? Because, you know, people are shopping around, and how do you, set up an appointment. Then we go to trial offers. So if it's an introductory procedure, if it's a class, whatever you want to do on connecting to the inquiry, the person needing information correctly, being friendly, all of those things about customer service, and then setting up a time and appointment to come in and try it out. I mean, dude, you want to test drive the car, right? You want to try it out. You want to see for yourself. The real sell takes place in the floor in the introductory lesson where they can see for themselves the benefits and the value of what we have to offer. And then let's say we get the student enrolled. They're a student. Well, they're going to need other things. They're going to need equipment. Are you using term agreements? Are you using programs? What days do they come to class? What are your schedule? We run a really flexible schedule where we know that some people will prefer a class, especially maybe non-working moms with kids, and they want to come before 6. And then we need people, we have classes after 6 for the same age group because they prefer those times. So a flexible schedule, that's why we have so many classes on the daily, and try to appeal to the masses, of course. You can't always please everyone. You just don't want to schedule people out. So you need to have a really good schedule and classes with a variety. Special events is something that's important once we get our students, enrolled and in the class. I said growth and I said retention. So we want to keep them. Special events, training seminars, birthday parties, parents night out parties, the graduations, seminars, whatever it may be, a variety of ways that are special events. We have family picnics, just on and on. There's like always something. It's important with a business to try to connect with the communication at hand, seasonal, if you will, so every month there's something. We may be focusing on Valentine's, we may be focusing on Halloween, we may be focusing on the holidays, the summer, the New Year's resolutions, whatever. So you can always theme, market, advertise, and promote around themes and things that are current going on right there. You need to get students to support your events, right? I mean, again, we'll have plenty of seminars. We just don't want to lose money on it. So we need to have a culture in your school that is supportive. And you can do that. Just be real, man. You have a culture in your school that is supportive. They support the events, and they want to continue their progression and their training. And that's really what it's all about. A good martial arts instructor should always be a community leader, because you really are supposed to be changing lives for the positive, and that's being involved and being out there. We will go about anywhere in our community, and we're seen in so many ways. Sometimes people might have to see you over and over before they finally act on that. Think like a new restaurant that opens up in town, or any sort of business. So if we're doing demonstrations at festivals and special events, or if we're inviting people to come into a free trial workshop, a beginner class, a self-defense seminar, gun and knife, or kids to talk about bully prevention, and we're doing these in the school systems, wherever that we can be, combination of just having our decals and our logo out, so back to being top of mind and branded well in your community, then people may see you 5, 6, 7 times before they finally stop in. Good drive-by location and a nice atmosphere. Man, I remember going into some old martial arts schools, and it was disgusting. I mean, it smelled like bare feet and sweat. Everything was duct taped. You saw that a lot with the old boxing gyms, It's good, hard training, but today, do people want to be part of something like that? You need a clean facility that is attractive, and all of those things. What are you going to go through in your martial arts school? Lots of stuff, and lots of stuff could happen on the good and even on the other side. So there's lots of risk, there's liability, and you can only do what you can do, but you want to stay as involved and know what's going on your floor and outside. You guys feel free to, shoot me some questions or concerns, but I think if there's a way that you have a passion or a purpose for something and you can turn that into a career, then you don't really work again. So go for it, man. Anything is possible to a willing mind, right? I'm lucky that this is what I've been able to do. It would be, I would still do it. I would do it for free, but it would be harder because then I'm tired. I'm working another job to make my money, and then I'm trying to find the energy to come in and teach. I see that with people doing it on the part-time basis, but, all respect to them. And more people that you can have, the more students you can have. It's not, the more students I can have, the more money I can make. No, I don't think of it like that. The more students I can have, the more lives I can change. It's great to help 30 people, but how great would it be to help 3,000. There's so much information out there. I would recommend that you get involved with some consulting and, learn things that are already there so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are true tried ways that are out there that works. I hope you guys are enjoying all the podcasts that we have. Again, this is episode 55, man. So go back and check them all out. We've had some wonderful interviews with some great people that have some educating, motivating, and entertaining information for you. And don't forget our YouTube channel at James Cox Martial Arts. Thanks, guys.